Welcome everyone
Yes,
to the
sir.
Final Point podcast. And here I am
Oh,
pouring
it's
up.
not. He's crashing out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know the news, so let's just get right into it.
Drama
Let
in Miami.
let Jimmy wants out. And to this is for half of the fan base right here. Half of the fan base,
Salute, man.
we're gonna congratulate Jimmy for all the memories, for all the playoff performances, and from taking us out of Dion Waiters and Hassan Whiteside nightmare that we had to live with. Cheers to that.
Cheers, man.
Mm.
You're gonna need a few more of those.
Oh, I'm gonna have another one. Now that that's out the way,
Yeah.
let's get into what what just transpired as of right now before we got onto the podcast. Yesterday, Jimmy had two stinkers of a game, comes out publicly, basically says he's lost a joy, can't recover no joy in Miami, never and probably won't. That was the blow up last night. After that, Shams dropped a report saying Jimmy wants out of Miami anywhere but Miami. We got that from last night, ladies and gentlemen. Right before this podcast aired, right now, we
Breaking
get
news.
breaking news as we go live. We get a message from the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have now suspended Jimmy Butler for 7 games, which will cost him about like $3.7 million per se, uh, for actions that were detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't know the full, story as to what's going on or what really transpired. What I can show is we can go into this from NBA.com. Conduct detrimental to the team. More than likely, those 2 games plus whatever was happening behind the scenes. Um, I mean, listen, I'm gonna give you guys quickly my thoughts on this whole situation as a Jimmy Butler fan fanatic, Miami Heat fan. I'm gonna give it to you from my side. So
this is the Miami Heat fan version. Are we getting the logical version, or is this gonna be in your feelings version? A little bit of both.
I'm gonna say it's a little bit of both, but
Yeah.
mostly I'm gonna stay in between.
Gotcha. Okay. What
And
is going on with Jimmy Butler, man?
and also, but right before I go into this too, this situation has multiple viewpoints, multiple arguments. Until we know the stone cold facts of what happened, this is all he said, she said type stuff.
Speculation.
Exactly. Um,
This is our version of what happened.
yes, yeah, exactly. So let's start from the beginning real quick. Everybody knows the Heat didn't sign his extension over the summer. Was kind of pissed off about that. There were some comments that Pat Riley made last summer about Jimmy Butler and his whole fiasco of basically talking shit about some other teams, saying that he would beat them if he was playing, even though he wasn't available for a lot of this of the regular season and he missed the playoffs due to injury. Um, After all that was said, Pat said those famous words: "You need to shut up and pretty much stay on the court if you're going to talk shit." That didn't go too well with Jimmy, and here we are, no extension, trade rumors up in the air, and we get to the Pelicans game. Pelicans game comes, which was the other day. Jimmy was not playing well. I think he ended that game with 2 points.
Hey, we should have pulled that up because you told me I didn't watch that game. You told me what he was doing. Was he really doing? I mean, can we say for sure that that's what he was trying to do? Like he was
As
trying to he was doing three pointers off of like 1 foot.
no, that I can pull it up, but that is a real thing that did happen.
Yeah,
I've watched that game. He had it was
I
his
gotta go back and
body.
see it.
Yeah, it was his body language, like that as well. He was shooting a one-legged three. Bam kind of looked at him, kind of confused on that play, not really sure what went on there. A lot of standing around in the corners, just him being very passive, pretty much is
Yeah.
where we're gonna put it.
Hey,
Um,
but do you think that that Pat Riley initial those words that you just said that that Pat Riley said, do you really think that that started then, or it sounds like there's a backstory that we're not getting?
I
There's some missing information here just for him,
at
because maybe
yeah,
they can have that relationship where they're just kind of joking around with each other, but those don't sound like jokes. And it sounds like maybe they've had it, they've got into it before behind closed doors, and we're just not aware of that.
and like I've said before multiple times, this the Heat have given him so much free reign to just
Yeah.
do whatever he wants, to be himself too. And I think that Pat is not used to dealing with players like this and giving a player so much freedom to kind of express himself and be who he is. And I think some of the stuff has been boiling over for some time, mainly due to availability, because we've known that Jimmy Butler has missed quite a few games in the regular season. Um, I don't think it was intentional that he was missing those games, but he just would miss a lot of games in the regular season, and which, I think that kind of boils over. And then kind of those comments of Jimmy making those up, and kind of warranted, because that's kind of how I felt too. I didn't feel like he had to even say anything if we got knocked out of the first round. Like, who are we to say anything about any other team if we're not even in the mix? So I kind of agree with those comments. What I think happened, and I do believe ever since those comments happened, that's when the problems arise. I think that comment happened at the wrong time due to everything we found out with his dad passing away and everything like that. But as from that point, I think everything was snowballing. Shams did report that on that Pelicans game, after the Pelicans game, they questioned his how would you say, his intent to play, pretty much.
Who questioned it?
A Miami Heat top brass executive, someone
Top
from
brass. What does that mean? Is that some sort of
that,
like
that's
branch of the
that's
organization?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't know,
That's what I'm
all the
saying.
stone
We
cold
don't know what
facts
was
yet.
said. Yeah.
But that was what was said, and from that point, it seemed like that ticked him off yesterday's game. And yesterday's game, he kind of brought the same energy, and then that's when he addressed to the media, "I don't want to be here," basically, and that he has no, he hasn't have joy when he's on the court, doesn't have joy playing with this team. And then we got that Shams article saying he wants out. So now that all that background information's out there, what I think, number one, for Jimmy to go on the podium last night and to kind of blame, the offense and him not being involved in the offense, and how, he's not a standing in the corner type guy. Let's get one thing straight, guys. Jimmy isn't a three-point shooter. Jimmy has been in this team for 6 years now, with mostly everyone from the very beginning. These are mainly everyone that he's been playing with for the longest time now in this build. Nothing changes in 5 to 6 years with those guys, and everyone on that team knows if Jimmy is involved, we're gonna feed him the ball. The offense runs through Jimmy,
Yeah.
while Bam is the hub of the offense, but the offense runs through Jimmy. He is our best player on the team. That is super known, and they know that. So nothing has changed in this offense other than Tyler Hero is having a breakout season, and Bam is starting to now come back into form. And we got some nice rookies on the upcoming way. I don't know why he said those comments. I don't know why he threw the coach and, I guess, the teammates under the bus. We don't know why, but that type of behavior, that's where it kind of ticked me off on that side of things. Now, We can blame Pat Riley for not giving him the help that he needs, for not getting more people in with talent to help him get over the hump and win a championship. We can we I'm talking about we could do a whole podcast on that because that's a given on his part. But the part that I hate the most about this whole situation is that it went sour when it didn't need to go sour. It seems like Jimmy is automatically quitting on the team. And now the questions is you have a young team now forming that you have your supporting players that are starting to play better, and now they kind of have to suffer midway into the season with this all looming over them and as a distraction. So I want to hear what's your side of this, because at least that's how I feel as a fan and how I'm trying to at
You,
least be
you're
unbiased.
yeah, you're but in terms of percentage, I mean, are you 50-50, or are you a little or leaning towards more towards the Miami Heat side? When I say Miami Heat, I'm talking about Pat Riley, because we don't really know who
Yeah,
agitated Jimmy. Someone has agitated him. We don't know
correct.
if Pat Riley's the mouthpiece, just because he's the top dog. We don't know if he's the one kind of like taking all the shots because he's been doing this for so long and he doesn't care.
Mhm.
And that's just how Pat Riley is, right? So we don't know who pissed him off. But whose side are you on? Who side are you leaning more towards?
As of right now, I'm 50-50. But I will say what's going on, I think, right now is a feud between Pat Riley and Jimmy. It's
Right,
definitely both of them going at each other, is what I think, and both are at fault here for sure.
right. So I think that this didn't just start with that comment that Pat Riley made about only those who play can, should be able to talk. This happened before that. We don't know when. Like everything else that happens in the NBA behind closed doors, it does come out. Where because especially nowadays, you got these NBA players doing their own podcasts, and these
Mhm.
stories come out. So sooner or later, we're gonna hear what really happened, how that whole Miami saga thing went down. But this didn't just happen then. This has been brewing for a while. Now what we're seeing is the ending of it, right? And
Yeah,
the ending is never pretty.
the
And
boiling point.
yeah, we're watching the lava spew and and all that. It's this is. I mean, as a Celtics fan, to watch an organization that has really pissed me off the past couple of years, to watch them kind of just break down the way they have has been pretty fun. So I'm enjoying this, but the NBA drama like this, social media feeds off of it, right? Because now we can
Yeah.
speculate. We can say, oh, so now you're gonna have the rumors start coming out where people just are saying, hey, he said that, he said this. Well, now we really don't know because shit has gotten real,
Yeah.
right? It just got crazy.
I've been
So,
honestly seeing people from his camp or close friends of his
but we don't know
fighting
that.
with Miami Heat journalists on Twitter like about an hour ago.
Social media has unleashed a
It's
beast when it
it
comes to these kind of, because now it's always fun when a player of high notoriety requests a trade, because now we know, because it's always like, oh, what if De'Aaron Fox might be on the move, or
yeah.
it's always speculation.
Mhm.
But now we know that Jimmy is on the move. Where's he gonna go? That's exciting for us as NBA fans. But yeah, no, this didn't start just then. This has been brewing for a while. Now we're seeing the ending of it. I think that with any relationship, once you lose respect for each other, I think it's over.
Yeah.
And I think the disrespect on both sides, I think has crossed the line. And Pat Riley said enough is enough, and that suspension, 7 days. I
That's
mean,
a big one.
I mean, is that with no pay? I mean, is that on there? Is that out there
No,
that it's no pay or not?
it's no pay.
Okay, so now if I'm Jimmy, don't let me speak at another press conference again,
Yeah.
because
It's
TMZ is gonna be there, because it's
it's
gonna go down, because now you
it's
fucking with my money, right?
it's
Because
gonna
now
cost them.
you're not paying me for 7 games.
They were saying that it might cost them up to like $3.7 million
Yeah,
or
you see,
something like
dude,
that. Like
that
it's
you
a
know what?
big amount of money. But if you
You
read,
know what happened?
if you read right here in the article, it says that the conduct was detrimental to the team over the course of the season and particularly the last several weeks, which is also he was
Listen,
gone
this
for
has been right. This has been
over
going
a
on.
week right
Right.
now for an illness, which they say it was for sure an illness, but you know, whatever might have
Well,
happened during that
if
week.
they're honest, people are gonna start asking questions, right? So yeah, we're gonna call it an illness. Yeah, and he
Exactly.
just took off a little bit, but yeah, no, listen, this has been going on for a little while now. Pat Riley, chances are they had someone had a conversation, whether it was Jimmy's team.
Agent or
Yeah, someone
team camp.
communicated something. Something went down because I'm sure there was a conversation before this suspension happened. I'm sure they had a conversation. And this 7 games suspension was Pat Riley saying, checkmate.
Yeah.
It's your turn now.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you want to trade? Okay, I'm going to send you to the Shanghai Sharks. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm going to ship you somewhere
With
where you
no
don't want to
pay.
go. And you're going to be suspended for 7 games. And it seems to me that these 7 games are while they look for a trade. I expect Jimmy to be on the move here in the next week or so. Jimmy will be gone. But let me get back to what I was saying. So
Mhm.
that's that. This has been going on for a while. Now, if let's be clear, if Jimmy wins a championship in the bubble, or if he somehow pulls off the one of the biggest upsets in sports history with the Nuggets, if they beat them, we're not having this conversation. I think Pat Riley has a little bit more respect for Jimmy. I think that Jimmy feels disrespected. That's why he's acting the way he is.
Yeah.
To answer questions so candid on on a topic that really, it's like an unspoken rule in the NBA and with any sports. You don't discuss the back office drama.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy's discussing it now openly, that's basically a fuck you to Pat Riley. Like, I'm gonna talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about.
And
They're asking the questions. I'm just answering them, right? You can always
and
play
and
that
I
card.
think he's doing it more on part two as the Heat doesn't like to be in the social media
Yeah, you guys
spotlight.
hate this, so get me the fuck out of here because Jimmy's just speeding the process up. He's like, let me just go
Yeah.
ahead and speed this up for you guys. So that's that. But one thing we're missing here, man, and I feel bad because we're not thinking about the rest of the team. Some of these players are going to be packaged with Jimmy. What if they don't want to leave? They're like, I like Miami. I don't want to fucking go to Charlotte or to Portland. Jimmy,
And
shut the fuck up, and because I'm going to be traded too, right?
and right now I
Jaquez
got
is definitely on
three.
the move,
Yeah.
bro. Okay,
It's
so
Jaquez, Robinson, and Terry Rozier.
yeah,
It's
other
those three, I
players
think.
will be affected by Jimmy's decision to act the way he did. And again, I'm on Jimmy's side. I'm leaning more 75-25 Jimmy's side because we don't know how much disrespect Jimmy has gotten. But for it
Mhm.
to get to this point, he's clearly disrespected and he's just reacting. And everyone reacts differently, right? This is just Jimmy's way. And Jimmy's way is fun because he likes to be on camera. He likes the spotlight. So it works for us, but players will be affected. I think Hawkins is definitely one of them, man. Hopefully not Ware. After that performance, teams are probably going to want Ware. You're going to have to package Jimmy, right?
Yep. And salaries have to match.
Right. So to get, to get something decent back, right? Something that's reasonable, you would have to package Jimmy. So we're not taking that into account, man. But do you think that um in 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 light of all this happening, right? Do you remember back? I can't remember if it was in the playoffs or not. Remember when Jimmy had that 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 was I'm gonna say a fight. It was more like an argument with this dude. You guys worship this guy. What's his name? Udonis Haslam.
Yes.
Do you remember when he had that spat with him?
Yeah.
Dude, could this have gone back then? Right? Maybe Jimmy doesn't like Spoelstra's coaching style. I mean, he wants to do his own thing. Jimmy always To me, Jimmy always played best when he's the point forward, right? When everything goes through Jimmy. Jimmy's such a Swiss Army knife. He could do anything, right? He does shoot threes. When he wants to play defense, he plays incredible defense. Once Jimmy is in the paint, I've always said this about Jimmy. If you allow Jimmy in the paint, he's not missing. He just the angles he takes off the backboards. It's just he is an absolute machine in the
I don't
paint
know
for
about
his
this season.
size. Yeah, I mean for his size, he's
Yeah.
super good in the paint, right? So that's maybe Spo wanted to take him off of that, right? Because remember, I remember a couple of times we've talked, and we'd be like, why isn't Jimmy running the point more? Why isn't the offense going
Well,
through him more?
this is the thing that I kind of came back to when he had those comments last night about it, whereas he was saying that this new offense is not something he's new
Ah, you
to.
see. Oh, you see. So then I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Yeah, so that was the part that ticked me off last night
Well,
when I
there
was
you
watching
go.
it. Yeah,
There you go, dude. Jimmy is saying now he's putting it out there. This is probably something he spoke about already. You know,
but
they do have video sessions, practices where there's no one around but them discussing game plans. Jimmy had a problem with it back then. Why wouldn't he have a problem with it now? It's the same coaching staff.
but the thing that's weird is that nothing has changed.
I know that's how he feels too. Nothing's changed. He doesn't like the playing style. You guys aren't listening to him.
Yeah, but what I just don't understand is that he's always been the point forward on this team.
Yeah.
The ball has always gone through him half
For
the time when
some
he's on
reason,
the floor.
something happened. For some reason, Spo wanted to switch it up. And you know what? He's the head coach. He has the right to switch it up. I mean, who is Jimmy to tell? See, this is the problem. You see, players need to be players, coaches need to be coaches, right? And this can be a case of Jimmy wanting to have more say in the offense, and some coaches are okay with that, But then what precedent does that set? Right, because now
Yeah.
if the prisoners, if
If
the
one
prisoners are
player's
running the
saying
prison, right?
something,
It's
yeah, the
you
other
can't
ones
have that.
want to say something too.
You can't have that. That's
Mhm.
that's favoritism. Favoritism is applied to all aspects of life when it comes to the workplace. Even in the NBA, it's like that. So you can't have that, right? So maybe this is one of those cases where Jimmy wanted to, because we don't know, but they've had so much success with Jimmy doing that. Why not keep it going?
Now, I don't want to say this is a reason because I don't honestly think it is, but how is it that he would have those type of comments now, the season that Tyler Hero is ascending, and now Tyler Hero has the ball in his court more
Do you
than Jimmy?
so? But
But I don't
okay,
believe that's a reason.
right, right, right.
But what who we can blame for this is we can blame Pat Riley for this because one, you have Bam, Tyler, and Jimmy, and now you've added a Terry Rozier into that front court. All four of those players need the ball in their hand. All four of those players need the ball in their hand,
But
especially
listen,
Jimmy and Tyler.
yeah, but
They need the ball in their hands.
yeah.
So we can blame this on Pat Riley's roster construction around Jimmy. This is where this is where I go into it being it's a fault on Pat and the organization for constructing the roster and not picking a direction as to where they want to take this team. Do they want a team centered around Jimmy Butler, or do they want a young team centered around Tyler and Bam?
I think it's a little bit of everything that you just said. I mean, they know they can't build around Jimmy, right?
Mm.
And Jimmy just has to face that I mean, he has to just realize that they can't build around him. Now, does Jimmy have the right to feel disrespected? Yeah, we don't know what numbers were thrown at him. We don't know if they were disrespectful. We don't know if there was even an offer made, right? We don't have that information. But what we can go off of is those comments and what has transpired ever since, right? And
Mhm.
just they just don't go off like this for nothing. There's a reason why Jimmy's acting like that. There's a reason why Miami suspended him for 7 days. So more is gonna come out, but listen, there's gonna be more coming out also because Now that the trade is happening, once Jimmy's off that team, right? He gets to speak at a press conference on his new team.
Yeah.
And if we know Jimmy to be Jimmy, Jimmy's gonna have something to say. They're gonna ask him, right? The elephant in the room always gets addressed. And if he's being honest again, then we're gonna find out more.
We're gonna probably hear about it on the Udonis Haslam podcast or the
Yeah.
JJ Redick podcast. I don't know if he still does that, but uh, for sure it's going to be on a podcast or some type of docu series or something. It will probably pop up. Um, it is bittersweet because I was really looking forward to this year having a Boston Celtics, Miami
Is
Heat,
this the end of the
Jimmy.
rivalry? Is that what you're
I
saying?
I I think it is.
I
I
think
think
they
it
bounce
is.
back, man. I think they bounce back. Now, this is a good segue because I think they bounce back with a trade, right?
Hmm.
What is Jimmy's value right now as we speak? If you're a GM for another team, right?
Hmm.
How are you viewing the value of Jimmy? And you got to take into account the circumstances, right? Are you a win now team? Are you a team looking to add a veteran presence like Jimmy around some young dogs? Houston Rockets come to mind if that's the case. I think they have the best package that you can put together. It's a shame that Jabari Smith just got injured, man.
Yeah, he's
I don't know
fractured.
what happened to him, man, but I know it's gonna be two months. I heard.
Hmm.
So that hurts their package because I thought Jabari Smith to Miami was gonna be a really dope move for you guys. So what do you get for Jimmy? What are you expecting back realistically, man? Not I mean,
Yeah,
everyone views him differently in terms of value, but
I mean, I think he's definitely well worth one first round pick for sure. One first round pick. I think one decent young player and one rotation player. Doesn't have to be a crazy rotation player, but a decent rotation player. I think that is a good get back for him at this moment of his career and age and all that. You get one first round pick, one decent rotation player, and a pretty good upside young rising player.
first round pick, a
It,
rotation player.
yeah, it could be a first or second round, either one of
Yeah,
those.
right. That's what I'm thinking. And you said a new someone
A
upcoming.
young, yeah, a
Yeah.
young, rising type of player, someone with upside, and yeah, like a decent rotation player that's a plug and play. Let's just keep it at that.
Right. I think that value's too high, man. I think Jimmy right now, listen, he only hurt himself. If this was the plan that he had, which I don't think it was, I think all of this kind of got worse like recently. But he hurt his value, man. Why not play your ass off this season? Just go off.
And you know
Um,
what? I'm gonna drink to that one because that
yeah,
was the solution that I was saying, and we've said it before on the
makes the most
podcast.
sense.
Yeah, why not play out the year,
Let
show
me get the water,
everyone
man. I'll join you.
show the NBA and the Miami Heat that you are worth the money that you
Yeah,
want. Why
and
not?
if they're not giving it to you, at least you're playing your value up.
Or you can
It can only
demand it
help you.
somewhere else.
This can only have, or demand it somewhere else. This can only have hurt you. I don't know. So that's why that makes the most sense to speculate that most of this toxicity happened towards the end,
For
right?
Jimmy.
Because for Jimmy, um, Jimmy to Charlotte, but that all that happened towards the end because why play like this?
Yeah,
Jimmy has had the chance. It's like you said, this was going to be the year. This team is probably the best. This team is probably better than the team last year.
for sure. I've been 100%. I think they're
You
this
know,
the team construction as it is right now is better. You
yeah,
have a lot of people with upside is what makes this team better.
right. They got younger.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened to Jaquez, man. I mean, Jaquez dropped a few notches there. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with
No,
him.
he's running into a rookie wall, I think, this year.
Yeah, but listen, that's more of a reason why Jaquez may be included in this package, right? So, um, it's you can get some decent pieces back. I don't think a first round pick and an upcoming star and a rotation player is going to be it, but you can only go by what Jimmy has accomplished, right?
Correct.
And everyone remembers the as much as I don't like to acknowledge playoff Jimmy still exists because I wanted to kill playoff Jimmy. Playoff Jimmy was a thing, and he's not that far removed from playoff Jimmy, right? So teams are gonna be, valuing him at that rate, right? Of someone that can do that. I think Jimmy got 2 more years left in him, but teams, I mean, it's if you have the right situation and you feel like you bring Jimmy in, I think a team like Houston makes sense. Um, you and I were t- you and I were talking earlier. LaMelo Ball makes sense, right? So if I think a LaMelo Ball and like a second round pick or something like that makes sense, but something tells me a team is gonna overpay for Jimmy
Yeah.
because it happens all the time.
Yeah. There's always a team.
Right. Someone's gonna overpay for Jimmy. We don't know who it's gonna be, but I'm hoping it's not someone that's already a contender and then they think Jimmy's gonna bring him over the top because it has to be the right situation. My go-to team I've said before is Houston. Who do you have?
It's I know right now on ESPN they've been throwing out a lot of Golden State with the Kaminga and as well Houston has been another team. The Phoenix Suns,
No.
I don't understand that one. I It's an
Although
automatic no for me.
I know it's no for you, but listen, Bradley Beal has had a couple good games. Okay, people forget Bradley Beal was out for a long time. You got to get back conditioned, right? And you got to get back into your routine. Bradley Beal's looking good. He's had a couple games. Sometimes different situations, right, help to elevate a player's game. And but Bradley Beal is just getting back to that game. That's where he was at. Bradley Beal in Miami makes sense. I don't think Phoenix is going to take Jimmy because him and KD are the same age. You're gonna, I mean, he has to. Jimmy has to go to an up and coming potential, contender. Houston. That's Houston. Where
And
else
and
would he
that's
go? Charlotte's not going anywhere, right? Pelicans. Listen,
I think if
Brandon Ingram,
yes, I do think if the Heat are to offload to get rid of Butler,
Jimmy to New
it's
Orleans.
it's gonna go to he's gonna go to a West team because there's no way they're gonna trade him to either a contender or a rival team in the East to deal with him there.
Why not?
Well,
If they
that's
have the
why.
best
Why?
package, but
But why would?
nobody in
But,
the East has that.
but why would you want to make your competitors
Although,
better
hey, hear me out on this.
unless
A,
you're getting a really good deal? That's the only way I see it happening.
a team you don't want Jimmy to go to, that they already got a few dogs, and they are 2-0 versus us this season, and they scared us last season in last playoffs. If Indiana gets Jimmy,
Yeah.
Indiana got some dogs over there, man. They're young. They're not that old. I don't know what they'll give up for him. I don't know how much they'll lose, but
I don't even know who I would want
not
from
not
Indiana
giving up,
either.
not giving up that much. Maybe they can give up some picks. Maybe Miami's gonna bank that. What if Miami? We don't know what route Miami's gonna go. Are they gonna go the
Yeah.
rebuilding route? We don't know. Depending on that, dude, Jimmy to Indiana is an interesting one.
What I will say is that they are not known for rebuilding, and at this point, I don't think they will rebuild. Will they soft rebuild, get rid of some people, kind of reload the team roster? I see that happening, but a full rebuild, I don't see that happening. Um, of course, we've also been hearing De'Aaron Fox. That is my want out of everyone in all the trades I've heard. I would want De'Aaron Fox. Um, but it's just I don't know if that deal
Listen,
gets done. I don't know if that deal gets done the way that those contracts are. And then with the Bradley Beal situation, nobody wants that contract. Nobody wants that contract. He is going to get paid insane amounts of money next year with that contract as well. Nobody wants a no trade clause contract on their teams.
The Bradley Beal contract may be what stops that from happening, because other than that, I think that if I'm Miami, I pull that trigger and I
If
take my
he
chances
was
with
on
Bradley Beal.
a minimum or 2 year, I think they would take it.
I take my chances with Bradley Beal because he fits better with Miami. You know, with their style, he fits with
Yeah,
them. So I
with
take my
Hero and
chances on
Bam.
him. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. That contract is going to be a deterrent from Bradley Beal ever being traded, probably until that contract is up. No one's going to want that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, hey, Detroit has some good rising talent out there. I will say that.
Detroit's good, but also, listen. Also, you got to remember the team that's taking back Jimmy is going to have that conversation with Jimmy and his team on whether or not he's going to want to resign, because they're not going to want to give up a lot if he's not going to want to stay. So he's gonna have to want to be on that team, and I don't see Detroit or like Charlotte. That's why I can't see that happening. Those
Yeah.
are reasons why I don't see those teams happening. They're fun. They're interesting it's fun to think about a LaMelo in Miami. That would be really really good for the for the league, for the city of Miami, because LaMelo fits perfectly on that team right now. If you pair LaMelo with what you guys got going on now and you don't give up much, that works. He's a point guard. Y'all don't have one.
What I was gonna say is we need two things on our team: a real point guard and a real four. That's what we need.
No. But you see, I don't think you do, because after what you saw out of Khalil Ware, you put Ware at the 5, and Bam's at the 4. You don't need a 4.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's what every Heat fan dreams of. But unfortunately, with the way our team is set up, and usually Eric Spoelstra doesn't like to play two bigs all in the same time.
Yeah, but they're not really two. They're two bigs, but you have to play. Listen, sometimes you what you have to do is not really what you want to do, but what you have to kind of you have to kind of try to combat what other teams are going to try to throw at you, right? You got teams in the East like Cleveland. They got those two centers those are basically two centers. It's the same situation.
Yeah.
And that's how they win most of their games, is because they have that dynamic. So you can't be afraid to just try that out.
And I agree with you. I think that honestly, that should be the move. That should be the pivot there, is to make that work. Will it work? Will they do it? That's a different question. But that's believe me, every Heat fan wants that to happen. Every Heat fan wants that to happen right now. But you know what? As bittersweet as this is, with this all ending and all this turning ugly, I think it's good for Heat fans in a way, because we've been wanting something new. We've been wanting something fresh, and this might be our chance to get what we wanted. Because I will say, watching this season so far and watching last season, how miserable those seasons were, of what, like, as much as Whiteside and Dion Waiters were, how terrible that was, at least they were entertaining to watch. And then they went on that crazy run towards the ending of the season where they almost made the playoffs. They were hungry and entertaining, at least. And right now with this team, I don't see that, other than Tyler Hero night in, night out, just balling out of his mind.
Hey,
But
but it's the same team.
and
So I mean,
that's the
it's the
thing.
same team. So Jimmy is either proving a point, and if this is the point he's proving, I mean, this guy's like the fucking Joker. I mean, if he's doing shit like this, but he's basically saying, look, this shit doesn't work without me, because it's the same team. We haven't seen that dominating 2-3 zone defense that they play. We haven't
None,
seen that. We haven't
none
seen the Miami Heat
whatsoever this whole
defense.
year. And
There
I
there
will
was a
say
couple.
that I will say too, that's another thing that's been really weird about this team, is that from this whole year, and I mean even last year, the defense that Miami's known for has not been there. And
No.
also, I do think Jimmy Butler's defense is not as good as it used to be at all.
Yeah, but no, but that you see, but we don't know how much of that is effort. What if he just doesn't want to play defense
W-
for you guys?
That's true, and we can say that as
Listen,
well.
I'm saying this right now. At this time again next year, Jimmy's gonna be on another team playing
For sure.
really good. He's gonna be playing really high level basketball, and we don't know if it's gonna be on a contender or if Pat Riley's gonna ship him to Alaska. We don't know what he's gonna do, but wherever he ends up at, I guarantee you Jimmy is going because he's also playing for his contract. He got to opt in this year of I think it's 55 million.
Yeah,
So the team that he goes to has to agree to that amount, and then they're gonna give him an extension. There's gonna be an
exactly.
extension shortly after he's traded because that's
So
all discussed.
from anywhere from 60 to 80 mil a year.
But Jimmy's not worth that, but he's probably gonna get that.
But
He's probably gonna
that's
get
what he wants.
yeah, he's probably gonna get the 40. I don't know who they would keep as point guard, but Houston, the Van Fleet contract and the Jimmy contract match up.
I
Would
wouldn't
you
want
guys
that.
take Van Fleet?
I mean, I wouldn't. If it was me, if
Why?
I was
Because
the
he's
team.
size. You got something against short people.
No, it's just right now with the way the team is going, they're moving in a younger way, and I want them to keep moving younger.
He's not
right now.
old, dude. He's what 30.
He's like close to mid-30s, but I mean,
He's not mid-30s, dude. Let's look up Van Fleet's age,
yeah.
dude.
Here,
How
I'm
dare
gonna
you
look
say
it up
that
right
about
now.
this man on this live podcast? This guy is at least 28 years old. I think he got the old man syndrome, where he looks older than he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I'm
29.
talking about.
I was
All
close.
right, 29.
Dude, you said he was 40, dude. That's fucked up. I think it's the beard.
I don't know. He just looks way older than.
He does. It's the beard. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. Dude,
think that's what it might
dude,
be.
he's a baller, man. I mean, come on. If that
I
contract
like
makes
him.
sense.
Yeah, I like him, but I don't know. I don't see him on the
Yeah.
team, honestly. Now, who I do like is the dude out in Phoenix. Oh my God, what's his name?
Tyus
Phoenix
Jones.
Tyus Jones,
Tyus Jones is nice.
and he's on a minimum.
Yeah. No, that was a good pickup, man. He's underrated.
Right there, that's someone who I can see on the team, and he has that like scrappy defense.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot about him. I don't know, man. This is a weird situation. Like again, I was not literally just the other day we had a podcast of us talking about Jimmy Butler's going to stay and how he wouldn't leave, and here we are. So literally after we finish this episode, he could be traded right then and there. I mean, we don't know.
See if there's any updates. Yeah, man. I got Shams on the alert. Let's see what happens, man. I anticipate Jimmy will be on another team by next week. The sooner Pat does this, the sooner the distraction is over and when everybody can move on. That's why this is happening. This is as we speak right now. Offers are being made.
I think February 16th is the trade deadline. So I don't know if he makes it out to February.
Well, he's suspended 7 games. I mean, how many games is that until? I think that's just about maybe half the games.
Yeah, and
but shit's gonna be awkward when you. But now shit's gonna be awkward. You see what I'm saying? Now you make shit weird.
And this is where my next point comes to. They tell him to go home, and you won't be playing for the Miami Heat until all this gets sorted out, and he sits for the season.
What? You can't do that.
What do you mean?
You can't sit him for the season.
You can send him home.
You can send him home, but you can't sit him for the season. There's still some basketball to be played, man. We got a whole nother half of season.
And this is why I don't understand.
Now you sound like Pat Riley's people. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, look, I'm my
trade him, get it over with.
My name here is Mob Boss Riley.
Right.
On this
that's what you sound like, dude. Nah, man, you gotta just trade him, man. Get everything over and done with.
Yeah, at this point, I'm over the cryptic. I'm tired of it already. I'm just tired of the drama already. Just let's get it done with.
To be continued, man. If there's any other drama, developing, we'll just we'll do another podcast, but it looks like we're gonna be the next podcast is gonna be a trade and where it happened at. So
Yes.
don't be surprised if it's over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm
That's how
saying. It
fast
could.
these things happen.
Yeah. I mean, just like I said, like right before we went on here, he got suspended for 7 games. So it could literally happen at any moment. Um, Before we go, let's go ahead and shift. Let's talk about these NBA standings right now.
Where's everybody staying at?
So this is league stands right now. Cleveland and
Hey,
OKC
that
are
that
at
that,
the
but
top.
that's interesting because I think I would probably switch. First of all, where Milwaukee's at is not really where they're gonna end up at. I think Milwaukee's playing really really well right now. I think they've kind of hit their stride, and that offense looks good. So
Atlanta has been playing
Atlanta's been
well
playing
too.
really good too. Trey Young's been balling, man, and so I don't really have for some reason, dude. Dallas and Orlando are not going to be there, man. I mean, for some reason I don't know why I thought that they were a lot lower, but
Orlando's been holding on surprisingly.
they have been. But okay, this is what Orlando is. Okay, Orlando is going to be one of those teams that Cleveland was last year, right? Where they have a good regular season, dude. They're getting bounced in the first round. Okay, they'll be right back at Orlando International Airport in no time. All right,
MCO.
everybody's gonna get excited. I get it. You know, it's good to win a little bit. Okay, it's only gonna be for a little while.
They just haven't been healthy this year.
No, and they got the injury bug. That didn't help. If those two are not injured, we're not even having this conversation. I got Miami in at least my top 10
I mean, they're
because they're still
it's a
not
whole nother
proven.
team,
Yeah.
but it's still a whole nother team. I mean, the beginning of the season was insane.
Yes, but if you have Ja Morant healthy, I have Memphis over them in
I could see
terms
that.
of
I could see that.
in terms of the power standings. I have Memphis over. That's how good I think John Morant makes the Grizzlies, man. But this list makes sense, man. I have New York the Knicks higher than you do, right? You don't think they're that good.
I mean, as
Have
of
you
right
seen
now,
some of them in League Pass,
I
man? Have you been watching some of their games?
yeah, they're actually playing tonight. Right now, I think, but
They're playing as we
uh,
speak.
yeah, but no, as of right now, they're definitely better than Miami, and it- I see where they're at right now. I understand it. It makes sense to me. I give it to them. You know, Cat has been balling, and I mean that trade worked out for them because look at how Julius Randle has been
Hey,
from
listen to me.
Minnesota.
Hey, I'm going on record right now. Thank you for saying that. I have something to say about Julius Randle. The bus stops in Minnesota for Julius Randle. I don't know how he keeps getting, well, not keeps, he got that one contract. Remember, everybody
Yeah.
forgets he was drafted by the Lakers and he was terrible with them. It was a disappointment.
Yep.
Plays well in New York, gets this contract, and listen, this is a fluke. He's being exposed right now. He's not that good, man. Julius Randle is really not that good. The Knicks won this trade, man. This
For
may go
sure.
down as a robbery, man.
For sure, for sure. And I think the only thing what makes Julius Randle even worse of a player is
He
his
got short
shot.
ass arms, man.
It
He got them T Rex arms, man. He's fucking
it's the
terrible.
shot diet too. It's the decision making. It just doesn't make
Yeah,
sense sometimes. I
yeah.
mean,
It's and then it's so many turnovers, and you just forget. And you know, there was a tweet that I saw that summed it up perfectly. It was from a Knicks account, and they put, "Thank God we don't have to deal with this anymore." And it was just Julius Randle going ISO mode and just turning the ball over. And it's like I remember him doing that so many times with the
yeah,
Knicks
yeah.
during close games.
It will
Fucking Jalen
cost.
Brunson's vibe all up.
Yeah, yeah,
So they Knicks won that trade, man, and I do think that I'm hoping the Knicks and the Cavs battle it out, and you know they kind of take each other out
hmm
before one of them gets to us because or the sleeper Indiana takes the Knicks out because I think I'm telling you in the 7 game series you got to play at that Garden for 4 games, man. That shit
yep.
is that's it's the fucking Garden,
It's
so
a
you
different
already
environment.
know exactly.
Yep,
That's a 6 man right there. So I like them where they're at. I think that 24-10 record is legit. They are good.
for sure.
Indiana's on the come up. Want
They've
to,
been playing better. Halliburton has most definitely been playing better, even from last night. Um,
dude? What if you? I just saw the team and I laughed. Jimmy Butler for Zach Levine.
oh my god, man! I don't even want to know. I wouldn't be happy about it. That's for sure.
That would be funny though, man. If you guys
I
end
w-
up with Zach Levine.
I would have to drink this whole bottle of gin right now if that happened. Jeez, don't even scare me like that.
Hey, if you scroll down this list right here.
Yeah.
So if dude, aren't you surprised that the Kings are that bad, man? Or this early on in the season. I don't know how much injuries they've had to deal with, but dude, I mean, to be that,
DeRozan just hasn't been working out for them so far. He's had a bunch of stinker games. I don't know. I mean, it also comes back to that De'Aaron Fox
yeah,
already opted out. There's a couple teams right now in the NBA that have this like weird aura going on about them. This weird just weirdness going on. And I honestly think that this year has been weird in general for
it's
basketball.
someone that is a sleeper to be on the move, and I like a lot is Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's been
so
playing very good recently as well.
what if we're looking at the wrong thing? What if De'Aaron Fox is not even in play?
Hmm.
And it's Herder and Malik Monk, and you put together a package for Jimmy. That could be it too. Maybe they're
Yep.
trying to pair Jimmy and De'Aaron with Sabonis. That works too. So many things, man. Let's tune in, see what happens.
Yep.
It's a developing story. And probably Monday, man, we see Jimmy on the move.
Man, I don't even like to think about it, but let's go ahead and end it on that note. Thank you guys for tuning into the Final Point podcast. We appreciate you guys watching, like, and subscribe. We'll have more trade news, Jimmy news, Boston news on the way. And we will see you guys on the next episode. See you guys.
Peace.